Good morning, Suzanne Joy.
Good morning, Deborah, LeeAnn.
Let's tune in. Ah, and ground and drop in and slow down for just a few minutes together. I really felt it yesterday, how even when I think I am going so slow that I need to even slow that down. Um, So I just invite everyone to just drop in. Even breathing slowly makes a difference in our whole calming of our system and inviting longevity. Longevity of breath allows us to have longevity of our spine, allows us to have a more expansive heart space. Oh my goodness. I don't know where we're going to go, but I do want to introduce the pulse because this week we are in Gene Key 45, which these always feel so pertinent. Um, dominance, dominance. And it doesn't have to be, which we most often think about as power over, like the few over the many, or in a political or governmental type of way, world order right now kind of way. But there's also dominance over feminine and masculine. There's dominance over intellect and intuition. There's dominance over right or left brain. There's dominance within where we allow a certain part of us to run the show when there's a whole team here that we haven't consulted. We just got to get hijacked with emotions or with overwhelming, of energy or um, mental rumination and flipping around of stories. So or physical pain, which has been another thing for me in the last week or so with all of the bites and rashes I've been playing with. So bringing that into the space. Where are you on that? What part of the dominion to communion and the gift is
Synergy?
synergy for you?
Synergy.
hmm Um, and how much dominion also has to do with fear and not feeling safe. We've talked a lot about that. Not feeling safe necessarily. It may not be that we don't feel safe walking down our driveway or getting into a car and driving, which sometimes I don't feel safe driving on our roads right now. But there's a safety within that we carry. I remember my energy teacher, 15, 20 years ago saying that safety is a choice. It's something you give to yourself. It's not
Right.
something anybody else can give you.
Exactly. Um, I've been observing myself, especially when I've gotten emotionally hijacked. Um, and then luckily, when I catch it, I, I quickly pause and go, whoa, where did that come from? Hold on. What is the root of that? Um, but I think it's there to remind us what we value, what's most important to us, it's just kind of jostling us to say, okay, why is this matter so much? What is the thing that's underlying it that's at the crux of the importance of it?
And,
Um,
and I'm going to push back and say, and sometimes we don't even need to know.
okay.
I,
Sometimes you just feel it.
I know we want to. Yes. But that takes us out of the feeling of it because we're like in the mental going, oh, well, I wonder, well, let's get to the, I mean, because that was what I was taught in energy school years ago is that you get to the root of the thing and you rip the root out and you replace it with, gold and beautiful energy, which, you know what? That stuff it's a part of us. It's woven into who we are. And how do I think what we're learning is that we get to love that. We get to accept it. Acceptance is the way towards love.
I pulled that card today, interestingly.
Which one?
Acceptance.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Because
And
it's,
as we let's just jam on that for a minute. As we are with the experience, the feelings, recognizing that all is well, even in that.
yeah, yeah. And it doesn't feel like it. I mean, our whole system is screaming, saying, "No way! This isn't safe. This isn't uh, fair. It isn't love. It doesn't feel like love. It didn't, and all of that. And but everything is love. I know. I'm playing with you here. So the only way to move into the communion space is through trust and feeling safe,
Right.
because that is what creates the synergy. The synergy within, I mean, we tend to think of, coming from my leadership development background, and you too, because you were in that world. And synergy is how you get a team to work together and flow and, recognize and pull on each other's strengths and unlock each other's genius and all that good stuff. Yes, but it's also right here. Can we have synergy with, like, I guess I was talking about, like having all parts at the table saying, like the movie Inside Out. Remember, there was a whole, all the emotions were sitting at the control table, and joy wanted to take over all the time, and they were like, no, this is how I'm feeling. Fear, anger, disgust, anxiety got introduced when she became a teenager. That was so good. So so I'm not there either. I just know that when I do relax into the acceptance space, some of the discomfort moves away. And I think that's why when we're really, really sick, our bodies go, we're just going to put you to sleep now so that you can heal, because there's so much going on, and we don't need our mental processing. We don't need our emotional processing and being angry about the illness. Our body goes, we're shutting it all down because we're focusing on
Yeah. Reboot.
and all y'all just go on vacation for a little bit till we get this back and on track. So that's when synergy
Well,
happens, right?
yeah. And what I also feel about synergy is not only synergy within, but then how it correlates with others. And that's when everybody starts coming online with their gifts and and the people that are meant to work with you are starting to find one another. That's where the opportunities and the resources move freely through healthy relationships. Um, but also, it always begins within us first, healthy relationship with ourselves. And thus we find the people that we synergistically connect with.
We're
That,
attracting that. Yeah. Our attraction field is turned on because allowed that light to shine, going, okay, I'm ready to
right,
pull this.
right.
Um, and we're probably, I don't know about time. I mean, it could be tomorrow, but um, we're not there yet. And so we get to learn, what if every person that we rubbed up against, and I'm thinking of certain family members, community members, political people that that are the grit and the sandpaper. How can we say thank you to them, because that's allowing us to grow more,
Mhm.
so that our shining light will be there attracting what we want more of.
Right.
Oh, I just got a new it's a splinter off of one of the political action groups that I'm on their email list, but it's called the Smile. And every time it shows up in my inbox, I will go and read that, because it's called the Smile versus all the stuff going on in the world and all the other headlines. I'm like, I want to read that, and it's always just two or three articles, but it'll point to, and these things are being done. And did you have any idea that this was happening? And it's what a beautiful way to balance what else is going on. And it feeds my system so nicely. So I like to imagine that I attracted that into my space.
Well, and I think that's really healthy to identify the things that we're cultivating in our web or in our circle of this and more, this and higher. This is, you know, pulling out weeds and really nurturing the things that want to grow, that are
Yeah,
healthy.
yeah. Um, we have tomatoes on the vine, which is a very exciting thing. And there's so much in the garden right now that I can't even get to weed. So I'm like, okay, they're just going to cohabitate. That's the way it is. So what I'm noticing is that everything is flourishing. I mean, all the pollinators are happy. They're going to the weeds as well as the good stuff. Oh, I love you.
So
I
I
believe
just
you
want
have
to
peonies now. Mine
share the
have gone too
beauty of
much.
the peony. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So perfect. And they smell so fabulous.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm learning to not just see the weeds, but to see all the other things blooming, growing, you know, um, doing their thing. So
That's what we're doing.
yeah, I want to talk a bit before we close about communion. How,
Mm.
how I guess I want to ask you, how does that feel in your body? I mean, we know what it looks like, but I think more we're learning now is how do we cultivate the feeling of communion within us?
Communion, when I feel it, it feels like the interconnectivity of all. So growing up, I communed a lot with nature, um, with animals, with people too, but it's
And
that,
others and other beings, be honest.
yes, yes. Um, but really knowing that you're not isolated, but that we all are interconnected cosmically, physically,
Chemically.
emotionally. I mean, a lot of people might be experiencing emotional hangover from just the blasts of light that are coming in. It's a lot. It's all happening at the same time.
Yeah.
And so, um, communion to me recognizes an ever abundance that life is. Like I'm looking at the peony, and they were not out last week, barely.
On how they show up when they
And then all
don't.
of a sudden, kaboom!
Yeah.
And then they're going to be gone.
Well, yeah,
So
mine have been
this is
gone for.
their show, and then they're whoop, I and that's all about timing for me too. Like we have our moments. There's times where I felt like, woo, I'm really flourishing, and then there's times where I haven't. and I felt,
And when you're, okay, I have a question. When you're not flourishing, can you still feel the interconnectedness? That's where I think I forget that I'm a part of a bigger thing and this is just a moment in time and I'm being held and it's going to change. And, because life, everything changes.
I think that's the biggest challenge. But we can rest in it, just rest in our knowingness of, and this too shall pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a big challenge for most of us.
Yeah. That whole saying has been in my mind a lot in the last week as my body has been healing is be still and heal. Be still and heal. And that's not easy for me. I'll say that and I'll be really good for about 5 minutes. And then I'm like, oh, I need to go do that. Oh, yeah, what about that? Okay, yeah.
Well, I went out and was amongst nature yesterday and traveling and looking at mountains and plants and trees and got to see some of the biggest blue jays I've ever seen. Um,
Mhm.
it was just really interesting, but there's still this rumbling within me, feeling changes. And so literally my stomach was turning and churning, and I was like, okay, we get to,
I'm safe.
I'm
Yeah.
safe. We get to dance in that too and be with.
Yeah. And what if that is always what if that is our new normal? That we're going to continue to feel, especially now, especially in the coming years, there's going to be so much change going on in the collective, on the planet, you know, collapsing of a lot of the dimensions are going to all be here at the same time. And we're becoming much more multidimensional. So as we do, there's a lot of unsettling energetically, mentally, emotionally, physically. And I'm trying to figure out there we may not, I don't know. I mean that we may not ever just be floating along la 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 until we learn how to float along with all the other undercurrent happening at the same time. I don't know. I don't think it's ever going to be simple and maybe not easy the way we think of as easy.
I,
While
I
it
would
needs
I
fun.
would say we just have to trust our own flow. It's not anyone else to dictate how it flows within you. You know, each one of us knows your own way of being or your own path. I was really reflecting on destiny yesterday, and I was like, there's really not much else I can do. Like, who you are is who you are, and you show up, and um,
Yeah.
there's not much else you can do.
What is that quote? Life is the dance and you are the dancer? Or life is you are the dance and life is the dancer? I don't remember which way it is, but I always, because it feels awkward to be the dance and life is the dance, like life is dancing. And it's true because I don't have control, like the destiny thing. There is this thing called divine will, right? Which has always been a hard concept for me because I was always like, but I can control things, I can make things happen. I want to show the mudra, but there was one other concept I had I wanted to share, and that was about the communion of it all. Oh, Lee Harris just introduced a sensitivity. What kind of sensitive are you? And especially because we're all feeling all of it. But there are people that are more energetically sensitive, physically sensitive, emotionally sensitive, spatially sensitive. And it's a quick quiz that gives you an idea. And I'm not surprised at what my answer was. But I'm going to put the link of it below in case anybody else wants to see where they land. But it's good to know because there's, like you were saying, everybody has their own way of being with the energy that's flowing through us. And I think I feel mine on a multi level. And it's sometimes like knocks me, literally, like knocks me back into bed and say, just be quiet. Let the wave wash over you. So, and the mudra. So the mudra is so beautiful and it'll look very familiar to anyone who grew up Christian. Um, he didn't specify, Richard, when he demonstrated it, but it's the I put the left hand underneath and the right hand on top. And this is just basically saying I am open to serve and receive and be one with all. And just allowing that openness. I almost imagine like my heart and my body opening when I do this. And it's very relaxing to my whole system. Ah, so I extend that to you. And closing thoughts.
Much love till next time.
Mhm. Be very gentle with yourselves.